I used to be extremely overweight and I was battling alcoholism. And finally, something had to give. I was unhappy. So I stopped drinking and I replaced drinking with the gym. I ended up losing a significant amount of weight and fell in love with lifting. I was approached by two bodybuilders and they're like, "Oh, do you compete?" And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And they're like, "Do you do bodybuilding?" And I was like, "Well, what's bodybuilding?" They took me under their wing and they kind of like showed me the ropes and I absolutely fell in love and I never looked back. And then in 22, I had an unfortunate event. I had my heart attack. And from there, I ended up just battling a hormone issue. And I didn't realize I had a hormone issue that was onset from having the heart attack. And then I got with a coach that wasn't really understanding when I was telling her things that were happening. And because of that, it made my hormones just significantly worse. And I ended up loading on over 80 pounds. I went from 120 up to just about 200 in about a year and a half to 2 years. And it was crazy. It was super hard. I was falling back into depression. And so this year, well, like at the end of last year, I met with the hormone specialist, and that's when we realized my hormones were significantly jacked up. My liver and my kidneys were about ready to shut down, and so were a lot of other things. So we kind of rehabbed everything, and then I got with my new coach. He's been my dream coach forever, but I wasn't able to afford him for a very long time. But finally, I took the investment in myself and I paid for him. I got Shelby Starnes, which I'm super grateful for.
Hmm.
Yeah, I went ahead and I invested in that. I paid for him for the year, and I will say it's been a struggle. I swear he was probably wanted to kick me in the face a few times because things just weren't working. Like it was a constant battle with my body from fixing the hormones, the inflammation. It took a long time. And in the beginning, I was still battling depression. I also just recently lost another cat during all of this, so
Oh
I
no.
was still going through the emotions and the stress, and I still was dabbling with going to raves and drinking and then binge eating foods you shouldn't be. So at the end of May, after she passed, I finally was like, you know what? This is it. I got serious. My hormone doctor helped me. We helped me get on some meds. It was phetamine. It was a metabolism spike. We got on that for 2.5 months. And then finally, with that and going zero carb, the weight started to drop. Like it started to come off rapidly. We got off the phetamine, and I still have been having a steady decline. And then every now and then, because I have or I have intestinal issues, so every now and then, like I will have flare ups, and so my weight will spike, and I'll get bloated and inflammation. But it's just battling and dealing with that. So I actually am just now recovering from a flare. I did my check-ins this morning. Shelby was significantly happy. We went from every week check-ins to every 4 days, every 3 days. Now we're every 2 days since we are sitting 14 days out. We are getting very close. So now everything is being heavily monitored. I know more changes are coming. My cardio has spiked, and I haven't had carbs in a few weeks. I just want a damn potato. Just give me a potato.
I'd say I just talked to a lady today where she is. Well, she's not. She hadn't competed for a couple of years. She is planning competing next year, and that's the thing about being a bodybuilder is that the food is part of the process, but it's the right foods. You know,
Yeah,
especially when you. I know with bodybuilders, you love your carbs. It's like as I said like this, it's like one of my favorite movies, New Jack City, with Chris Rock as Pookie. He calling your name, man. He calling you. He calling you. You be like, it hit you hard because it it tastes good, but it's
it
not part of the
does.
process. It's
No.
nice to have it every now and then. Like I know Shelby, he's the type of guy. He's been in the game for a long time, and he sets up for refeeds and whatever you might need every now and then. But you still have to be cautious of what you
Yeah.
take during your prep.
He's very meticulous with it. I have not had a genuine refeed. Well, he'll be where most coaches will be like, go out and eat a big meal, go out to a restaurant, have this, get off the plan for a day. I have not had that since being with him. To him, what he'll give me when I start reaching like super low points, especially like when I'm telling you I'm struggling like 10 minutes into cardio, I'm starting to black out and see spots. He is like, oh, let's, skip one day of cardio and then have, 5 ounces of potato with one meal. Like to him, that's what I get. And I'm very grateful because his plan has been working. Like all see the changes. We see from where I was earlier this year to where I'm at now. Like he has really helped me. I also during this time found out I cannot have anything with rice. Rice is something that highly inflames me, and I have mild allergic reactions. And when my body was so inflamed, we weren't able to pinpoint like what was happening. I do know that when I would go out to eat sushi, all of a sudden my watch will start going off because it's like high heart rate. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's probably, the high sodium, stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I eat a lot of salt and I drink a lot of water. Like, that doesn't make sense. So after we did a phase out program, and then, we phased carbs back in for a minute, anytime I would eat carbs, I would bloat to where I would look like I was 6 months pregnant, and I would get hot flashes, and my joints would hurt. Like, I would get so swollen and stiff, and it just in so much pain. That's when they realized I can't have rice anymore. It was
Sound like you were
so weird.
Sound like you were pregnant. Wait, because outside the symptoms, I have, like I said, I have three older sisters, my mother, my nieces, and they had kids, and sometimes that sound like the symptoms, the bloat and everything else, and the ache and pain. It's like you were knocked up. Who's the baby daddy?
Right? Casper.
Yeah, Casper the friend. Well, he wasn't that friendly. He like, baby, yeah, y'all like, call me in the
Thought
morning.
he dipped out and left me.
Yeah, he got he like one of my favorite episodes of Martin's where Martin asked Thomas, "What's GTD?" He said, "I got the draws. I got the draws." That's what he was. He got the draws. He ran out. He said, like, you got these draws. Yep. So yeah, we have here. Shout out to my guest here. We have Randy Compton. He says, "Mary is the greatest." Wow, I get some fans here.
Oh, I
Also,
didn't see
we have here from this is from David. Dave. He says, "Oh, Mary, it's Dave. How are you?"
it's
Also,
raining now.
yeah, he also says this says, "What did you train today?" LOL.
Today was a really short session. It was just cardio mostly. I still have 20 minutes to do when we're done here. I'm not too thrilled about that. But then I can't do pull ups because I actually injured my arm a few months ago. Um, it was an old injury that got like, taken care of, but came back, and it was during pull-ups. It's a tendon issue right here. It popped again. And so for a few months, I mean, doing certain movements was agonizing. We've tried soft tissue, dry needling, a lot of different things. The only thing that's actually kind of been helping right now is I've done a few rounds of shockwave therapy. Shockwave therapy, because it does work for tendons and helps kill inflammation. That's what been able to like rehab it enough to where I can still do curls and I can do a lot of movements, but I still can't do pull-ups because putting that pressure right on that area is too much. So usually today it would be pull-up of death, as Shelby likes to call it. And because I can't do that, usually on Saturdays, I will do just lat focused movements. And so today it was just 4 different exercises that were all lat targeted and just my cardio. And then I did the sauna as well.
Well, I know we're dealing with, especially with a lot of competitors and athletes, there's always issues with injuries every now and then. So you got to find something way to compensate, especially if you have to change your training method. You have to maybe do something differently or find something as an alternative.
Yep.
We have here, shout out to the man Dave. He says this. He says, "You're so proud of you. You're killing your prep." Thank you, Dave.
Thank
Also, he
you.
says this. He says, "That's crazy that rice bothers you." Also, this is he also says this is sounds like keto is the way to go.
No, not necessarily. I have issues when people try to label it keto because when people get into that mindset, they start eating a lot of high processed and high saturated fats. And once again, fat is fat. Fat is not healthy for you, especially when you're trying to do weight loss. And so, yes, I do zero carbs, but if you think about it, certain things all have carbs, and so you're technically never zero carb. I mean, a lot of your vegetables will have carbs, and a lot of like, beverages still have carbs. I mean, unless you're getting like a complete zero carb protein, 99% of proteins even have carbs. So if you looked at it that way, you're never truly zero carb. And so, yes, you're going to go low enough in carbs that you can technically hit ketosis. But getting into the mindset of keto is trash. It can completely needs to go out the window because they'll stop eating vegetables, they'll stop eating a lot of fruits, and they'll just focus on protein and high fats. That's not going to get you where you need to be because a lot of the times eating high fats and eating a lot of protein, it won't actually work out that way. It doesn't digest the properties, and the proteins don't bind correctly at that point. And so it's like, yeah, it'll look like you're losing a lot of weight. And that's because, for one, carbs pull water into your muscles and that gives you that nice full look. When you omit those, yeah, you'll start looking really flat and loose. And so technically you look skinny, but that's not true. And so doing fats, I do low fat. I still eat fats. I do my fish oils every morning. I just swapped from nut butters to macadamia nut oil, and I still have whole eggs. So I'm still getting fat in my food. And just like with any products you have, there's still going to be trace amounts. So I do like 90-10, 93-7, 94-6 grades of beef. I still do like the lean chicken breast, but there's still always going to be some traces of fat on it. And then even when you do steak, yes, you can do the leaner cuts, but once again, they're always still going to have fat in them. So I'm still getting a fat intake, but it's just healthier fats in the way that you're consuming them, just like healthier carbs. When you consume them, you want complex, not simple. And a lot of people have that mixed up. And so they just cut carbs out. No, it's because you were eating the wrong type of carbs. Of course, if you're eating super starchy and super simple carbs, like a lot of sugars, then yeah, you're going to gain weight like crazy. And so when you drop them out, yeah, your body is going to go through like a shock because you don't have it anymore. So you'll start dropping the weight. But it's keto's not the way.
I know some bodybuilders they want too much fruits because they feel like it causes inflammation. That's
Yeah.
one thing. Well, but it's about the right fruits. If you don't eat something maybe too sugary like orange juice or banana,
Hmm.
those
And
are
see,
things.
right there, because digestion starts in your mouth, and so it's actually better to eat your fruit versus to puree it or make a smoothie and drink it, because if you're not chewing it and having your saliva actually start the breakdown, you're consuming straight sugars. Yes, there are still healthy sugars, but once again, sugar, and it's still going to be the way that your body consumes it and transfers it and uses it, which sugars and carbs, they go hand in hand. It's just you want good ones versus bad ones. And I know a lot of people will be like, there's no such thing as good and bad. That's a great area. Yes, you don't ever want to be like, oh no, that's bad for you, because technically it's okay to have things in moderation. It's just what would be better for you. And so a lot of the times when you're looking at like weight loss, it's easier and it's much better for you to eat whole fruit versus drink the fruit. So making fruit smoothies, absolute trash, because you're omitting the saliva breakdown, and so you're consuming straight sugar versus actually chewing it and having it start to break down that way.
You know what? That's something I could probably use because you know one thing, I don't eat enough fruit like I need to. I'm old fashioned. I like you talked about sushi. I've been born poor. I grew up poor, but never been so poor where I eat raw fish, especially cold. I ate it fried, or I've ate rice with it. But I never had a problem with rice. We have here some comments here. Shout out here to um this is my man Crazy Town 1T says, I love you, Mary. You're going to slay the show. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Also, my man Dave says, modify keto, my bad. That what I do, So he
Yeah.
says, yeah. Also, he says, I like ground turkey, ground chicken, eggs, chicken breasts, and use uh, veggies for carb source. I like asparagus, green beans, and what's that one? Whatever. I'm not gonna.
Arugula.
Arugula. Okay, yeah, yeah. I think is that just basically lettuce.
Yeah, it's a specific type of lettuce. I use a spring mix, which will have arugula in it, which is it's really good. Um, Arugula is really good. I would still look at adding in. You can do what I'm talking about when I say complex carbs. Like rice is a complex carb. You can do white, but if you do white rice, you want to make sure that it's re-fortified with the nutrients that are pulled out, because that's the difference between white rice and brown rice. Brown rice still has a sleeve on it, which has all the folic acids and all the nutrients. Once you remove that sleeve, that's what gives you the white rice, but it's removed. So you have to make sure you're getting it re-fortified with all those minerals and vitamins. And then, I mean, jasmine rice is really good. Basmati, or however you pronounce it, that's really good rice. I mean, quinoa is really good for you. Those are complex. Couscous is really good for you. I just prefer to eat sweet potatoes because I want my like savory dessert. So sweet potato with some nut butter and cinnamon, and then if I'm approved, some honey. Chef's kiss.
I
Chef's kiss.
remember we were growing up, especially around the holidays. My mom used to make this thing called sweet potato bread. Yeah, all it
Yeah.
was just it's almost like sweet potato pie, but she didn't have the crust. She just put it on a nice pan and cook it. And one part was like it was nice and gooey in the middle and had the crunchy edges, So
See,
you
me and your
know,
mom would get along great. Like, I love sweet potato.
yeah, she used to love it too. That was her thing. Yeah, we used to always to bake it for her because for a long time, why I started this because well, I guess this whole thing about I've been a fan of bodybuilding for a long time. For y'all, especially y'all ladies, because y'all ladies, y'all kind of excite me. You excite me, guys like here, but I'm really been a fan of the sport. But when I was taking my mom because she was sick, I started doing these content and doing interviews. I kept my mindset because she was sick and it was a lot of stress. And food was both, I would say, a comfort, but also it was something that was hurting me because it wasn't that long ago myself. I had a heart attack 11 years ago,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
yeah, and I was just 39 years old. And I for the last years I've had a pacemaker, and then one point before she passed, I was almost 500 pounds, and then when she was gone, I didn't have the responsibility, and sometimes I decided to take care of myself. But still, I have faults. Like this afternoon, I had a pizza.
What kind of pizza
I-
did you have?
it was. I can't tell you that because you're unprepped. I should tell you that.
No, I need to live through you.
Okay, okay. I'll tell you. It was bacon with ham, onions, and cheese, and I had some chicken wings on the side.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I know it's. I ain't like I said. I'm not like I said. I've done smart. Like I had one day I had baked potato and broccoli and some chicken, But then the other day I had pinto beans with some fried chicken and rice. I'm country boy. Sometimes it's old habits is hard to break. We
Like I
got
said,
here.
it's about moderation. Unless you're trying to compete or do something that requires, very rigorous dedication, it's all about moderation in your intake and making sure that it's, your calories in versus the demand of what you're expelling. And so I always tell my clients, I put you at what your body needs. And then we have to make sure that your export of what you're burning is more than that. And that's how we're going to get that good weight loss and create healthy habits. I never put my clients in these massive deficits unless they're competitors. If you're a competitor, then yes, this is what we needed to do X, Y, and Z. A lot of things are taken out. But if you're just a lifestyle client that's trying to lose some weight and just get healthier, it's all about moderation and creating new healthy habits, because essentially when we're not training together anymore, I want you to be able to take this and stay successful and live your life this way so you don't relapse and have all those weights. And so telling people like, no, you can't have pizza anymore, especially when you're with me, like, no, you can't have it. That's going to cause irreparable damage, because once we're not together anymore, you're going to binge eat your heart out. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to gain all that weight back. So it's teaching them how to eat correctly. Like, yeah, if you want to go have pizza or you want to go out and have, that big, thick piece of cheesecake and go eat with your or family, or have that ice cream sundae with your kids, like, do it. Have fun, live in the moment, but don't do it every night. Do it, maybe once a week, once every couple of weeks. Enjoy yourself, but still make sure you're moving, you're getting your steps in, you're still having your expenditure for calories high enough that that's not going to make you gain all that weight back.
Yeah, that's one thing is I have an issue. I have two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin's arthritis, genetics, And I tried to move around because I try to move around a little bit, try to do little things.
Yeah.
I know I need to do a little more, but then like I said, I had to have to work on my discipline because I'm the type of person. I'm a Scorpio. We're kind of, we're kind of funny kind of personalities, if
My
you
dad's a
think about it.
Scorpio,
Yeah. When was he born?
November 9th.
Oh, my birthday was November 19th.
Oh, 10 days apart. Happy late
Yeah,
birthday.
yeah, I appreciate it. 51st. Yeah, can you believe it?
My dad just turned 63 or 64.
Oh yeah, he's right. Yeah, he's up there though. I got a sister. She
Now he's
was
down
born.
there. He went down the hill already.
Yeah, I got a sister. She's 67. She's my mother's firstborn child. Out of
Oh,
all of the kids, yeah. People thought when I was a kid, she thought she was my mother because my mom used to work. My family was sharecroppers. My mom and dad used to work. She used to watch us younger kids, and I was like one of the, me and my younger brother were the last babies. Plus, she had two more of her own. And there was this, I remember one time my mom was telling a story how we were out and about one day, and people were talking, Miss Burke, what your girl doing all with those boys? All those four boys. I said, no, two of them are mine. She said that. But then she raised my two nephews, and they thought they're my brothers because we grew up in the same house together. That's the thing about family. We have here, shout out to my man. Um, wait a minute, I feel like I said that. Oh, he said this. This one's from a man, Dave. He says, and of course, a quality whey powder with some type of nut butter as a fat. All right.
yep.
Also, he says, what's the name of the show you're doing? Is in your pro qualified? No, I think she says she's going to be doing. This is going to be her a regional show. What's the show? Is it
It's
14 days doing?
yeah, it's my qualifier. So next year I can go to nationals and go for my pro. I'm doing the Midwinter Classic. It's in Bloomington, Illinois, December 6th.
Oh, all right. And that's just I think that's just maybe a few weeks after the nationals, which is going to be in
A week
Texas.
before
Which
nationals.
for national? Okay, okay,
A week
okay.
before one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And that's in, that's, most competitors, especially it's your first time. And, and what's that feeling for you now that you're close at the finish line?
Well, I'm hungry and I'm exhausted, but you know, as everyone, we hold ourselves to high standards. We want to make sure that we come in perfect, but there's no such thing as perfection because we're always striving to be better. And so it was probably a few weeks ago, I was hitting some really mental low points because, for once again, my body was just exhausted. I haven't had carbs in a long time. And so, you start to dive down, especially at this point in time, your hormones will start to drop. And that's just because as a woman, you have to suppress your estrogen to get that dry, lean look to pull everything in. So sadly, it's what's happening. And once you start to drop those hormones, you start to go through a little bit of that mental part. And so for me, I started to think like I'm not good enough. Like, why am I doing this? Like, I just want to drop out. And so instead of doing that, I reached out to a few of my friends, which are pro athletes, I mean, and they're pro coaches. Like, they've been doing this. One of them has been doing this for like 20 something years. One of them has been doing this for like maybe 5 or 10 years. I reached out to them and I was just like expressing what I was going through, and they're like, pretty much, pull your head out of your ass, like you're doing this. And so I had to sit back and I had to like suck it up. And I'm like, all right, like we'll just keep going through the motions. We'll keep doing it. And to me, because for one, just like you, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I grew up very fucking poor. So like if I invest money into something, ain't no fucking way I'm gonna waste it. Ain't no way I'm gonna waste it. So I went ahead and paid for everything. Everything. So now I can't back out because I'll be wasting a lot of money. So I made that commitment.
Yeah, the thing is, bodybuilding is a very expensive sport. I know some people tell like this. Sometimes you have to pay Peter. You have to steal Peter to pay Paul. And for you ladies, I say like this. I often say this, and I always say this. Compared to the men, yes, the men had their expenses, but all they got to do is put on a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. You ladies, you have to have your hair, your makeup done. You have to have, all the things you need that's necessary for you to have presentation between the
Yeah.
cost of your suits. And as an amateur, you must, sometimes you're gonna maybe you might want to do maybe one more than one division. You might do, okay, I'm gonna do with bodybuilding, might see I do women's physique. You might want to double dip. It's expense that's a lot. Like I know it's on your shoulders. You ever think about being sponsored?
I've tried. It's just, I've had people reach out to say they want to sponsor me, but then it's like, oh, I'll give you 20% off your protein and a discount code. Or it's kind of like, I'll sponsor you, but I want you to do all these like sexualized videos for me. And so I'm like, no thanks. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, that's the thing is, you get those guys by saying, "Hey, Mary, yeah, I get some ideas for you." You know, hey, no, you don't want that. You want somebody who wants to help athletes gain their next level. We get here a comment from shout out to my man Dave. He says, "I love the passion you have for female bodybuilders. Love it, bro. I appreciate that. You know, it's a passion for me, but also I have to admit my crime also, Mary. I am what do you call? I am muscle very small. Y'all ladies excite me. Your puff muscles, your beautiful bodies, or y'all tan and oil. I remember a long time ago when I was a young gentleman when I got into online and started following bodybuilding. I used to read the muscle mag stuff as a kid, but then got online. It used to be a site called I think it was a what's the name of it? It was gettingbig.com. It was a site dedicated to bodybuilding. They used to have a message board. And sometimes you go on the message board, there's a lot of guys who are fans, and many of them guys were also, as we call us, smos. I remember one time I was on there, the first time. I remember this guy, I think he was a webmaster, something like say he welcomed me in, say, hey kid, you fan female bodybuilding? I said, yeah. So there's a saying, kid. So what's the saying? When he's ready to rock hard, we're rock hard. So, it's just something different about y'all women. That's why I enjoy having conversations, hearing your story. Yes, we admire these beautiful buff bodies, but understand what it takes. Again, always the issue about bodybuilding is always going to be that one thing they put in the room is steroids, pads. And again, that's only part of the process. It's part of the recovery. It's not, you're not going to get like, if you look at someone like Samson Dua, a guy who I met recently, the current Mr. Olympia, Derek Lungford. You look at someone like one of my favorites. I can't help it every time I talk about her because she's my girlfriend, and that is the lovely, beautiful Miss Andrea Shaw.
She's so sweet. I've met her.
Oh my God. I keep hearing people that met her. I want to. I actually remember my first bodybuilding show I went to was Savannah back in 2022. She was there guest posing and she looked great. It was maybe a few weeks from the Rising Phoenix that year, and guys that know who I know her know her say to George, when Andrea's on, she's on. And what makes it also, I like to always bring this out, and this is my friend Eunice. She runs her own company called Bad Rap. She's met Andrea. She knows Andrea. It was back in 2023, and I know you're gonna hate these guys because this is as my other guy says, if you get us something, Mary, never give it free, and this is my reward. What it is an issue of muscle development with Andrea the cover. It's the last issue when they start making them print. And
Yeah.
what makes it special for, because my friend Eunice was there at Olympia back in 2023. She ran into Andrea and she signed it for me.
I love that.
And she told me, George, you are the best. Your support means the world to me. See you soon, and and sending you love, Andrea
I would
Shaw.
frame that.
I know, but I can't help it. Sometimes I sleep in the bed with it.
I
I know
met
you.
her this year at the Arnold, and I actually have photos with her.
Ooh, you need to post them.
I know I should.
You should, anytime. I mean, my friend, no kid, his name's Alex. I met him when I was in Tampa, and he was there, and had pictures with Angela Yo, Hunter Henderson, Sarah Vilgas. I mean, I remember I got pictures too. I got some of them. Not all of them. I got a couple here. I put up here. One is with the current number two in the world, Ashley Jones. You see my face. I'm so like, and
See how
here,
happy you are.
yeah, and here with Sharonka Hinton. For me, I even met quite a few legends. That was an opportunity for me to go to Tampa because my friend Eunice, she had a booth there for Bad Rap. It's the Monica's big and defined rip and pump. They really want to help to really give the opportunities for women in the sport of bodybuilding. They show a clothing line. Also, she sponsors shows in the women's bodybuilding division. And for me, it was a great opportunity to go there. I'm planning on next year to go to another show. I'm also have a 2-year plan. I might go to Olympia. If not go to Olympia, I might try to go to Master Olympia, whichever's closer.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, okay, yes. Yeah, I've been, like I said, is one of the things my master taught me, Raza Guru, be rare surrounded at all time, young Master Wayne. Never give your footing for a clean blow. Shout out to my man Dave. Dave, he's been sticking in here. He says, does the top two qualify for nationals at this show, or do you need to win your class?
I think you have to do overall. I think it's overall. And I'm doing two divisions, but my divisions are usually super small.
Hmm.
Women's physique and women's bodybuilding, they're not big divisions in NBC. Once you get to IFBB, that's when there is more competitors. But during NPC level, there's usually not a lot. And because it's just a qualifier at the end of the year, a lot of people have already done qualifiers throughout the year. A lot of people aren't really signed up for this show. And so for mine specifically, they got rid of novice and true novice. So there's only open. And for women's physique, you have class A and class B for the two height divisions only. With bodybuilding, it's just bodybuilding. There's no classes. So I'm pretty sure it's overall for this one to win.
Yeah, I know it's tough. I know a lady a while back, I interviewed Lisa Smith. She did a show in Romania, Romania Muscle Fest. There was only three competitors in her bodybuilding division. She didn't get a pro because not enough bodies. I just interviewed a lady a while ago. She said also same with her because she lives in the UK. It's hard to get opportunity because of so few competitors. You know, that's why you have to go internationally. You can get your regional qualification, or then you have to go someplace else to try to get nationals. Like we just had a couple of pro qualifiers over the weekend. I know some ladies I did interviews with did it. One is a Master USA, but you're not masters yet. There was one in Virginia, which was part of the Ben Weider Natural, but you're not natural. And then there's nationals coming up, and also you're not too far from Illinois. There is, I don't know if we're going to have it next year or not, because I'm hearing that they might be dropping women's bodybuilding for some shows. I don't know, but there is a show called the Miss International. It used to be Olympia qualifier for women's bodybuilder. It was the second biggest title in the IFBB for female bodybuilder. It used to be part of the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic back in the day, but then he dropped it because like he dropped women's bodybuilding, he dropped physique and figure, and now it's a pro qualifier. A friend of mine, Tina, got a pro card there. Christina Mendoza, just saw recently a lady just got a pro card. Hannah Hussein, she was going to compete there because they did an interview right the year before, but she said she was going to do the show, but she dropped out and did North Americans. But I think it's a lot harder for women bodybuilding. I know one lady, Anastasia Ryder, she competed at nationals because there's only a few of them. She was the only one to win the in her class and didn't win the overall title. I interviewed one lady who she did both physique and women's bodybuilding. Her name was Natalie Miller, and she won both divisions. And she won overall for women's bodybuilding. It was only like five ladies had to squish them all together and make this one class. And it was
Yeah.
heavyweight.
Yeah, see, for me, if I get my overall and I get the qualifier and I win, I was looking at USA's or I was looking at North Americans. Those were the two that I was looking at.
That's possible. This is pretty good. USA's North
USA's
America.
are usually pretty good because, for one, it's a Vegas show. A lot of people will go to Vegas for shows.
Because you just tomorrow I'm gonna have we're gonna do a panel because a couple of my friends were there at the Steve Carr show, which was the one of the this usually there's only like one post Olympia bodybuilding show, and that's the Marine Muscle Fest. And then Steve Carr, shout out to Austin Carr, he's the promoter. He added women's bodybuilding to that show, and that was great. Shout out to Ashley, she won. It was a great show. I watched it. One lady is also, I think she used to be a Chevy Stars. I know she's still a Chevy Stars client. Marilyn, you took second. It was a great show, and there's opportunities. But one thing I feel like promoters are so against the sport women's bodybuilding. But here's the thing is, if you look at the divisions now, like when I was watching bodybuilding, when it goes back to the 80s, you go back to Rachel McGlesh, you go back to Corey Everson, you go back to Carla Dunlap, to Bev Francis. Bev Francis kind of changed the sport a bit. Those women were considered too small for women's bodybuilding. If you look at now, they're even too small for women's physique. But now you're looking at women who are in figure, who look like she's doing physique. I mean,
Yeah,
and you look at physique competitors who do women's bodybuilding. And the thing is, that's a ceiling. You start growing, develop as an athlete, you should go where you fit best.
I agree with that. I really do. And a lot of the times you just want to stay in your division. And so people don't want to leave. And so it's hard for other competitors when it gets that way.
hmm We have here my man KL, the Wonder, coming through. He says, Miss Beefy, why are you torturing me, displaying your thighs?
Are these things?
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is her nickname is also on IG is called Miss Beefy. Where you get the name Miss Beefy from? Miss
They got all
Beefy.
the beef.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more pork than beef. But yeah, that's a cute name. And, I remember when I saw you say, "Who's the chick that Kale's interview?" And says, "Her name is Beefy." Oh, well, I'm getting a little beefy too. I mean, that's another thing, sir. Sure, but excuse me, But yeah, think I think the thing is, as an athlete, you have to realize where you want to go, where you fit. I know some competitors feel like they're more comfortable in the division, but as you evolve, like right now, a young lady at NUI just got a pro card as a fit model, excuse me. She's a nice lady. I met her when I was in Tampa. She's a nice lady, but I'm not a fan of the division. That's the thing is that every time, it's the evolution of an athlete as you grow and you develop.
You should. You need to grow. You need to strive to be better. I was so pissed off when they opened up the fit model division. I was like, why? What is the point? You're literally taking somebody who's like spring break, beach ready in a bikini. That's all fit model is. But I have a good friend, a really good friend. She used to be a bikini competitor, but she decided last minute to do fit model, and she placed really well, so she's happy. I love her to death. And so I have another friend who does bikini. I love her to death. And so because of them, I'll be nice, but they know how I feel. Shit divisions. But I'm happy for them. They found a division that works best for them. I love it. They know that they need to strive to grow. I always encourage them to grow, to do more, love their body, to do it. But if you found the division that makes you happy, perfect. I will respect it, but I still talk massive shit. I talk massive shit about men's bikini too.
Oh, we all know that's men's physique.
Men's bikini.
Yeah, and we all know men's classic is men's figure.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I think each division works with the aesthetics of how people grow, how you look.
Yeah.
No one's going to be like the Nick Walkers or the Samsons or the Heidis. Someone has to be the Derek Lungfords or the Sean Coleritas. And I know Sean went up to open. Someone has to be Andrea. Someone has to be Natalia. Is there someone that you admire as a bodybuilder, respect their work, the ethic, or just the overall their physique?
When I first got into bodybuilding, I actually really loved Alicia Young. The fact that she is a big, beefy woman, but she's still super feminine. She still has a very feminine face. She still is very gorgeous. I mean, she's also just a very nice person, too. So I really loved and I looked up to Alicia. I really love Andrea, like her personality and just her energy. She is such a sweet, sweet lady. Natalia, on the other hand, like, jeez, her physique, what she brought to the Olympia this year, hot damn, the size of her quads, she like grew her quads so well. I really did like Sarah, but I don't like the fact that she's being an extreme sore loser at the moment. That kind of just, to me, it's like, you lost. Okay, bro, get better. Come back bigger next year. Don't sit here and rip your competitor down because of your beliefs on why you lost. Like, just understand, like, her legs were way more conditioned and a lot bigger than you this year. Like, it sucks. It sucks to lose, but don't sit here and demean another woman and start to bring down our sport that a lot of people already talk shit about.
Yeah,
So because
that's
of that, like Sarah's lost a lot of respect for me because I did look up to her a lot, especially for what she's done for the division and what she's done for women's bodybuilding. But at that point in time, it was kind of like you lost a lot of points there, girl.
well. There's some people who still support her. Like I said, I do respect what she was doing, like especially for her division physique.
Absolutely.
Putting up prize money. Showed like Texas Pro. I remember she put prize money for Pittsburgh. She often offered to put prize money to bring back Williams physique to the Arnold Classic, but we know Arnold,
Not this
he don't like
bastard.
he don't like the women muscles.
No.
He like pretty little girls and
Yeah.
girly men. That's what he likes. I mean, stories I've heard, and me, I grew up watching the movies, and but then doing this content and meeting people, talking to people, tell me stuff that yeah, he is an asshole. Here we got here comment from my man Dave. He says bodybuilding show cost me a grand for just the NPC card, my class, and all the tickets I had to buy. Uh, Thanks God I had a tan sponsorship so that it was free. Congratulations. Also, this is from Dave. He says, haven't heard the word SMO in so long, you know. Also, he says this. He says, "You're going to kill both your divisions." Appreciate that, Dave. Appreciate that.
I appreciate it.
One more here. We got a lot of guys who knew you were coming. They jump on here. Also, this is from Dave. Says Fit Model is trying to re, reverse of the bikini competitor. The problem is you can't go back. It's about going forward. It's about the process of any evolution of any athlete. It's hard.
Mhm.
I know it's supposed to be go back to a classic look like about 10 years ago. But the thing is, that division, it won't take long before it starts evolving. If we start, you look at bikini girls who probably can do figure. You look at figure girls who do physique. You look at physique competitors who can do women's bodybuilding. And the women's bodybuilding is a ceiling when it comes to competition.
A lot of the reason of why fit model is so big right now, it's because a lot of girls who've been doing bikini for 5, 6, 7 years that weren't placing jumped to fit model because they thought they had a better chance. Only reason that division took off.
hmm I probably believe that. Here we got here, my man Kia says, what is a shit division? Well, we just mentioned it, fit model. It's not a division that people like. I mean, it's just not that popular. A lot of hardcore bodybuilding fans don't like it, but it's the IFB and
Because
PC
it's
is there.
not bodybuilding.
Because bodybuilding is building muscle. You just do a lot of cardio. I mean, you just keeping tone. That's how you can do it, keeping tone. So
Exactly.
yeah. So, folks, while we got Mary here, we're gonna jump into social media for a bit. If you want to follow Mary, the link in the description. Also, she has a Venmo and Cash App. If you want to make a donation, I know it's getting close to the holidays, but it
Yes.
doesn't hurt, guys. A few bucks here and there, it helps out. She can cover costs of some things. But guys, I tell you this, and I ask you this. I know you guys. A lot of you guys are here because you want to see Mary. I got umpteen guys here right now want to conversations with her. But guys, we reach out to these ladies. Be respectful. No D pics. Stop it. Get some help. What's wrong with you?
I'll be honest, if I see a requested message that has a photo, I immediately don't even open it because at that point in time, 9 tenths out of 10, it is a dick. Or it's a guy with the dick up their ass. And I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that either. True story. A friend of mine, her name is Maryanne. She's an Ivy Pro. We were on IG Live one time. We're just talking back and forth. I met her a long time ago. We don't keep contact as much like you. I know she's busy, got things you got to do. We were on IG Live, and sometimes you invite somebody to come in, and just maybe just somebody want to talk. Next thing you know, all we saw is just a pair of pants unzipped, and we saw his shit. Not shit. I mean his my dingling. I want you to play with my. No, I didn't want. Like I said, I played football in high school. I shouted at guys. I don't want to see that shit when I'm on IG.
Exactly. I don't want to see it either.
Yeah, so guys, no D pics. Come on, be respectful. I know she got her quads out, her got her legs out. She's all pumped. I know you guys are like you're like little kids with a new brand new toy. But calm down, take a deep breath. Come on, settle down. So we're gonna jump into IG here, and she's really, like I said, has progressed. What's the thing you feel like you need to really work on, especially this close to your show?
Well, for one, posing. I've been working a lot on my posing. I have to get more better. Like I got to get better at that. And my routine. I've been working on the routine, just getting the timing down on that. But ultimately, what I know I need to work on the most is sadly, I'm not going to make too much development in it in 2 weeks. But it's definitely what I'm going to be focused on this growth season after. I have to get a bigger back. I got to get my lats bigger. I got to get more thickness in my back overall. I have brought up my hamstrings dramatically this prep, so I'm super proud of that. My quads, I'm always been quad dominant, so I didn't really have to do a lot of quad development this year. So my legs are a pretty good solid point. I will probably add a little bit more size to them. I probably will still add a little bit more size to my arms, but ultimately my goal is going to be getting a bigger back, thicker lats, wider back, bring that V taper in more, give me more of that small waist.
But for
That
this video
might
right,
be my focus.
right here's video, your quads are just huge. You look like you just, and really everything else has really grown over time. Look at the definition of shoulders, also the detail of her tricep. The back is, like I said, I often hear this. The back will make a break of how you place any shows because they
Yeah,
want to see more width, they want to see more graininess, they want to see, a really good pop. You want to see
yeah,
that good flare in the lats. They want to see overall great, and also work on your tie-ins and your hamstrings, and you want to have good connection between your glutes and your hamstrings.
yes. And right now, because I'm not as dry as I need to be, I was a few weeks ago. I got really dry a few weeks ago, but then I did slip up and I ate a whole jar of fit butter. I shouldn't have done that. But
It's
I did.
calling
I
you.
fucked up. But because of that, like I was starting to get some of that striation in my glutes. It's still there, but it's not as because I was way drier when I did have it. Right now, we're back to a dry phase. I woke up really dry this morning. Coach was super happy. But I will say my hamstrings, like I'll stand up. I don't know if you guys can see, but like I
Give me a
added.
sec. Give me a second. Let me pull it down because right now I'm still on your IG. Let me pull it up for a second. Let me pull you up. Give me a second because it's still on your IG here. And now we're off your IG. All right.
Just standing here, you can see like I've added more. And so when I go, actually, I do this side. When I go into my actual like hand pose, I finally have added a lot more. I mean, the tie-ins themselves are a lot more right now.
Well, guys, she gave you a little flex demonstration. So put away your lotion, your tissue, you're good.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Good detail. You want more cap in your shoulders because one
yeah,
thing, especially when you're doing posing, a little more width and bring in the hamstrings. You want that overall good grainy and pop look.
yep,
Compared to physique, where you're supposed to be more lean and athletic, where
yeah.
bodybuilding you're supposed to be more fuller, rounder. You have to those full muscle bellies that I often heard.
Yeah, you
You
want that dry, grainy, full look. And so I'm in between two divisions because I have the size for physique. Depending on how I pose, like with my quads, they lean more towards bodybuilding.